360 with Alan Edwards.
Following the South Korean State Council's decision to officially lift martial law, South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol's chief of staff, along with 9 other senior presidential secretaries, announced their resignations. French Prime Minister Michel Barnier has been ousted after losing the confidence of France's National Assembly, which voted in favor of a no-confidence motion forcing his resignation.
The motion passed with a 331 to 247 vote.
Over 4,000 people have been killed and 16,600 injured during nearly 14 months of Israeli airstrikes and bombardments targeting Lebanon.
Health Minister Firas Abiad reported these numbers, linking most casualties to events after September 15th.
Russia's top general recently held a previously undisclosed conversation with his U.S. counterpart, warning about upcoming test launches of hypersonic missiles in the eastern Mediterranean Sea.
General Valery Gerasimov contacted General C.Q. Brown.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact. Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
I'm not loving the lighting again. Lou, you're fired.
Damn good coffee. And hot.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
I'm not loving the lighting. Lou, you're fired.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Oh, that's even worse.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with a Dog. You make me laugh.
Well. We'll wait for the music to end. Because why not? Oh, people on the radio going crazy today. Look at that. Holy moly. All right. Rush. Good morning, folks. It is Friday, December 6th, 2024. Hope it's a beautiful, lovely day wherever you are. It's kind of, it's okay here. It's a little cold. Yesterday, we had our first snow here in Long Island, New York. And the chickens don't seem to like the snow. I just say that. I'm new to chickens, as you probably are aware, and wasn't aware that snow, they would starve themselves. They didn't come for food because of an inch, not even an inch of snow, what I call a dusting of snow. Anyway, on with the big program today. Andy Page, who was scheduled to be in our second hour today, has rescheduled yet again. There has to be, I don't know, a limit of reschedulings you can do. I think this is already her third. So she is rescheduled for January 6th. And if she reschedules that one, I'm going to point my finger. That's what I'm going to do. But in the first hour, we have Susan Hensley, who's going to talk to us about art journaling. And just in the nick of time, because next Tuesday night, I'm starting a new show on Mind Dog TV called Paint with Matt. And it's just about lifting myself out of a really funk I've been in for, ever. or at least the last 6 weeks or so. But probably ever, right? I think ever is. What's going on here? See, we're having all sorts of technical difficulties today. Now, YouTube is giving us problems. I have problems with Lou. I had to fire Lou. I don't know if you knew that. I fired Lou. Don't renew that. Get out of my face. Anyway, so we're going to talk about art journaling and what exactly that means. I mean, what I did notice yesterday doing a little mock teaching of basic. When I say I'm going to say basic one more time, but basic art, painting, acrylic painting, that so many people don't have the confidence to even understand their appreciation of shape, color, dark and light, and value. So art journaling might be something most people, or many people, are intimidated by because they don't think they have any artistic talent at all. And listen, I've been there. I was a guy who could fail art class in elementary school because I was so bad. I mean, I just didn't have the patience for it. I don't think I had the eye for it. Couldn't draw a straight line. But somewhere in, I'd say, around my 30s, while I was in the corporate world, I started watching PBS art shows, Bob Ross, and guys like that, and people like that, I should say. And I was just doing it just to relax. But then after a while, I got the bug. I was like, wow, this just looks so easy. And then one night, I went to not an art supply store, like an Office Max, because there was no, and I knew Office Max had canvases and stuff like that. And I bought a bunch of acrylic paints and water paints and all sorts of stuff like that. And I tried my hand at my first landscape painting, which I thought was terrible. But I fell asleep on a couch and had that painting out. And my friend Frank came over the next morning. He goes, "What, you got a paint by number set?" And I took that as a compliment because he thought that was paint by numbers. I said, "No, that's freehand, just from no numbers there. It was just basically working a composition, copying the guy on television, but without paint by numbers." But so I thought that was I was meant to be a put down. But it was actually, for me, it got me believing that I actually could create art. So on Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, I'm going to start Paint with Matt, which is basically Bob Ross for curmudgeonly old men like me. Curmudgeonly old men. I keep saying cra. It's cur. It's like February. Anyway. So we're going to get on with the program. Susan Henley will be our guest in the first hour. In the meantime, I have to tell you about our sponsors, which is Opus Clip, which failed to spot the Ron moment in yesterday's interview, the Crisco oil moment. You know what I'm talking about. It failed. I'm very disappointed in Opus's ability to spot the Crisco moment, but they do a great job in making shorts out of your long-form videos. Opus Video. I hope you will sign up for them. Link is in the description. We have lots of new sponsors coming on, by the way, next week, which is, I don't know, inspiring, uplifting. Maybe might lift me out of my funk a little bit right there. Opus Clip, check it out. You know what? All the highlights from the basketball dunk, if you could. Not with the piece. Get the dunk. Get the dunk. You got no dunks? Wow. What can you do? You can get the dunk. There you go. Look at that. Now spot the Crisco oil spot. Ron moment. Not the shower. No. I don't know. Oh, you're better than that. You are better than that. You can do better than that. Find the Crisco moment spot. Ladies and gentlemen, in the room with me now are... Wait, no, that was right. I messed it up. It was right, and I messed it up. In the room with me now are the aforementioned Ron Crisco Oil Kane. Stephen, who formerly Stephanie, just back from the hospital, having the operation done. I don't mean to misgender you. It's now Stephen, the sitcom Ortiz, and GD. What the hell am I doing here? Fenderson. Good morning.
Good morning, America. MindDogTV.com. Today's December 6th. Guess what? It's National Bartender Day. A day.
Wow, that's a loud voice. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. It's just like it was booming.
A day to celebrate the draft. It's also National Gazpacho Day. A day to celebrate gazpachos. It's National Miners Day, or as Matt Gates calls it, date night. It's National Microwave Oven Day. A day to celebrate by reheating your leftover gazpacho. MindDogTV.com. Enjoy the suffering and support your local mercenaries.
So do you get a good night's sleep?
Did you forget? Did you run out of material, so you just had to like circle back around?
He's working on his January 24th show.
No, I didn't. Actually, I didn't really run out of material. I just said that because it was just a thing to say. I thought it was funny to me.
You saw miners and got it.
At one point on the show, we used to do Today Is like not today. We did it today in history, but we also did a thing like
daily observances. That was me.
Oh, that was you.
Yeah.
I thought that was you. I wasn't sure if it was Willie or you because you sound so similar to Willie. I couldn't tell the difference between.
And we stopped doing. I don't know why we stopped doing. I thought, okay, well, I'll just rekindle it. That's all.
Wait, hold on a second, Stephen. You're still in the hospital. I said you were out of the hospital. I thought you were going to be home this morning. What happened?
He's getting his other testicle dropped. One dropped one of them dropped years ago, but this one's it won't drop, so he's going in to have it tugged a little.
No, Steven, it's a kidney infection.
Kidney infection?
Yeah.
You know, that's what got me the drill. I don't know if you're aware. You know the drill story. I was having kidney infection after kidney infection, and they said, "What's the problem here?" And then the drill was the next thing.
As a matter of fact, they called Matt the drill sergeant because of that.
Yeah,
his hands were soft and supple.
His hands were not the problem. Have they looked at it to see if maybe a drill might fix your situation? Let me talk to your doctor. Is your doctor there?
No,
I got the answer.
But I don't think a power tool is gonna fix a kidney infection.
No, it definitely will. It fixed me. Now I have to say the first few days were a little rough. Yeah.
He was pissing like a garden hose.
Yeah. There was screaming every time I went to the men's room. There was a little bit of screaming, a lot of screaming. It was more like,
Well, Matt, are you sure they used a drill on you and not a Dremel? Drill seems kind of big.
Well, I was obviously anesthetized pretty heavily, so I don't know what happened, but it felt drill-like.
It felt DeWalt-ish. It felt DeWalt-ish, not Dremel. Because actually, Dremels are Dremels are very detailed instruments. They're not big. I have a beautiful Dremel downstairs.
Instead of screaming
I think I'm reliving the trauma right now. Maybe I should art journal.
Instead of screaming "the fuck," he was like "DeWalt."
Yeah, exactly. What DeWalt?
So, Andy Page, General Hospital, and QVC. This is a weird thing to be on General Hospital as an actress and QVC with a daily. I don't know what she sells on QVC.
Could be makeup, could be jewelry, could be anything with her name on it, or she just could be a spokesperson for someone else.
Right. Why do you think she keeps scheduling and then waits till the day before to reschedule?
Because you're actually you know the safety school is, right?
Yeah.
You're her safety show. So she books on this one, and she doesn't get the other gig that she really wants, then she'll show up here.
I think you're right. Well, that's what I was thinking. She kind of thinks of this as like disposable. Like, oh, it doesn't matter if I show up. It's just a dinky little digital broadcast. It's not like regular network television. Screw them. I feel insulted.
We're better than regular network
television. I feel insulted.
Regular network television, you couldn't say 1/3 of the things that we say on this show.
No, but regular television would have stable mics every time.
Right. And
my mic is stable. See, look, I just have to push that button to get back to where I was.
And we would probably be brought to you by Crisco Oil if we were on network television. Really,
see, the thing is, I just can't hear myself. I don't hear myself until I play back the show like in 12 hours. So I have no idea what I sound like.
Wow. You actually play back the show? Because if you do, I think you owe me an apology, don't you?
No, because when I said it, what about you being a parody of yourself or about the Constitution?
About the Constitution? The Constitution!
Nope, don't owe you an apology about that.
It's not in the transcript. The reason I know, the only time the words the Constitution came up were when you said them and when I said them.
I know, because we cut him off. He didn't get to say the whole word. That's the problem. He was good to go. He went and
he said we have a beautiful system.
Yeah, he did that. Before that, if you go back, he went and then we cut him off, and then he says we have a beautiful system. And so,
he's here now. He's here now. Hold on.
Yeah. Actually, I'm fucking with you. I know the whole time he never said it.
I'm coming for you. Oh wow! So now I don't know what.
And matter of fact, the thought went through my head because when you sent out that little text that says he never said Constitution, I said I wonder what else I could get Matt to go back and watch the show to look for.
I just printed out the transcript, and then I did a search for Constitution, and it only came up with you and me.
No,
you and I and you.
No, he didn't complete the word, but I knew he didn't say it, so I was no.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back to see if he started the word. Now I'm gonna look to the con.
Yeah, no,
did he say con?
Go back to see if he says. Go ahead, look up.
It dawned to me that this is the guy. He's the DA in Nassau County. Remember, I told you about the time where I was there for a ticket. And they had me going away for 10 years.
Yeah,
he's the DA.
But he didn't. Was he the one actually in the court with you, or was it one of his?
I don't know. It's so long ago that I don't remember the DA being in a chair. I would remember the DA being in a chair, right?
Yeah, I think it was one of his minions because when I asked him, I came out and asked him, "Does the name Napo?"
I know you did. I remember that part.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, so that's what you were thinking at the time? Because I thought there could have been so many different possibilities there. But no, you said the name Napo. You didn't say Matt Napo. But
I thought I went back and said Matt. I thought I went and said Matthew, but I'm not sure because sometimes I thought I did formal after the Napo.
I think I need to contact him.
Yeah.
And ask him if that was him that had me going away for 10 years for
a parking ticket or something.
Yeah, I thought maybe a red light or a stop sign or something like that.
Well, didn't he say his brother lived in the county you do, and he was a lawyer there where you live?
Yeah, but no, the thing was
his brother's a defense attorney. His brother's a defense attorney.
Yeah, and where and that would be funny if his brother was my pro bono, whatever, public defendant there. But the offense was in his county. It was in Nassau County. It was in Mineola, and I'm sure that's exactly where he practiced all those years. So
it's funny. You had a public. You had a public.
Yeah, because I didn't know I was going to need an attorney. I was going to court for a ticket, and it so happens in Mineola they for whatever reason it was the same day OJ got acquitted.
Maybe that's what it was. It was OJ.
That's how long ago it was.
Yeah, it was OJ. They went like, wait a minute, OJ got away with it. We're going to take somebody down. This guy looks good for it. Matt Napo's going to do 10 years for a parking ticket.
He sounds like somebody from the Gambino family. Let's get him.
Yeah,
he looks like it too.
Well, no, that's not what happened. They weren't out to get me. What happened, and we have to get to, I guess, but briefly, one time with this, I'm deaf. And so
and dumb, and most of your girlfriends were blind.
You can leave that part out of it. That for some reason, criminal court and traffic court were in the same room in Mineola. Like, that doesn't happen. Generally, traffic court is here, criminal court is there. But they had all these people. It was overpacked. And I'm in the back of the room, and I can't hear. And they called up Michael Nappy. And to me, that sounded close enough to Matt Napo. And I went up, and they started running through, how do you plead? And I said, guilty. And then they said, well, let's go move right to sentencing. I was like, sentencing? It's a ticket. And then they were talking about 10 years. I was like, wait a minute. Michael Nappy was up for like assault, robbery, whatever. And it wasn't his first He had been in trouble before, and so they were ready to sentence me that day and take me away. And I started screaming, "Wait! This is something wrong!" And that's when they decided to give me a public defendant and say,
it's a good thing that they didn't actually. They caught that mistake before they processed you, because if they had actually fingerprinted you, they'd have got you for those other crimes that you got away with, because they didn't have.
It's time to move on. It's time to move on. Right
it's
now.
A good thing Ken wasn't your lawyer, because as soon as they had everyone stand, he would have been held in contempt.
All right, we're late. We're late for our guest. We have to bring in our guest. Susan Hensley is a transformational coach, a speaker, and author dedicated to helping people navigate life's transitions like the one Stephen is having right now, with joy, creativity, and resilience. With decades of experience in corporate executive and leadership coach, Susan has a deep understanding of the challenges, opportunities that come with major life changes. She's got a book out about art journaling, and we're going to talk to her right now as soon as I do something like this and this. Oh, no, I got the wrong... Why do I always have... Good morning, Susan. I think
Good morning.
Yeah, I started to put you next to Ron like that. That's a terrible thing.
Perfect.
So art journaling, yeah, interesting enough. I don't know if you heard my intro about this, but I think...
I did, and I wrote it down. Tuesdays, paint with Matt. Is that right?
Yeah, yes, that's right. But that's not what I was alluding to. I'm talking about the people who don't necessarily feel confident enough to feel like I can do anything artistic. There's a lot of people like that. I was one of them. Talk to me about that. I mean, can anybody do art journaling? Can it be like kindergarten art?
Well, it should be kindergarten art. So I was listening, I've been backstage for last 15 minutes, was listening to your story, right? About watching Bob Ross on PBS and the whole paint by numbers thing. And my whole art journaling play is like 3 steps before that.
Wow.
It's really about like getting back in touch with that child artist back in the day when you thought your stuff was fantastic, when you about between 5 and 8. By about age 8, the research shows we get all sorts of messages from culture that's like, you not an artist, go be a pilot. Everyone's looking for what you're good at and trying to sort of channel you in that. So the whole concept of art journaling here is you go back to that like child artist and you actually play with what you loved to use then. Crayons, finger paints. I'm a big fan of the big Elmer's glue stick. I love that thing. Not to, no deal with Elmer's there, but that is the product for me, and collaging. And what it does is it's very much like a written journal, right? Except it moves you into that creative part of your brain, and it just gives you some play. As an adult, we don't have enough play. I mean, what you guys do is terrific because you're playing, you're laughing, you're joking. That's creative. And I'm guessing when the show's end, you feel really pumped and good because you've had laughter.
I feel dirty. I feel dirty and need a shower.
Okay, maybe different tool for you there.
I can relate to that, actually.
But in general, it's that sense of doing something that you don't have to be great at. That's what I like about.
Like comedy. Yeah. Okay. Now I get it.
Now you're talking our language. We suck at everything we do.
Yes.
There's this whole it's a whole mental release of doing something badly, but doing it for the pure sake of doing it, the fun of it, the joy of it, the release. Right?
Stephen, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Susan. Stephen, I'm blanking out your camera because we're looking at your vital signs here. I don't want to. Oop! What did I just do? Yeah,
you sold him out.
Yeah. Well,
okay, I have a question real quick, then, Susan. It's okay if I call you Susan and not Mrs. Hensley or Doctor Hensley.
No, definitely call me Susan.
Okay, because I was looking for Susan. I was desperately seeking Susan earlier, but I never. Okay, but you referred to the point that between age 5 and age 8, a person becomes more critical of their art ability and more aware because of social signaling. So at what age do we go back to having that confidence again where you can actually paint, let's say, tape a banana to a wall and have the audacity to call it art and then accept $6.2 million for it? Something must have happened when it goes.
I would say if it got $6.2 million, that justifies it as being art. I mean, in my view, if somebody's
but they called it that before it got to 6.2 million.
Good point. All right.
See, so at some point he goes like, "Hey, I'm an artist, and next week I'm going to glue a grape to an aquarium tank."
Yeah.
And I have with a fish going behind it, and I'm going to call it, I don't know, Great Fish Adventure or something.
So, is there a question in there for Susan? And Susan, do you understand?
At what point do we go back around to thinking that everything we do is wonderful?
So that's actually the point I want you to get to. I mean, your whole point about that crazy banana thing, I think that says a lot about culture and who you believe and who you don't. And I can talk at length about that, but don't think you want me going there because that's not funny. That can be scary and sad. But
we like scary and sad.
The goal of the book, the course, the workshops is to just touch into what you think is fun and good. So it's about process, not the outcome, right? When I stumbled into this, and it's not that dissimilar to what happened to Matt, quite honestly. I had a colleague who had a side hustle. She was a pretty good artist. We were sort of curious. She was getting commissions. She did a little wine, cheese, cracker thing at her house, rainy Saturday. There's about 6 of us. The others are learning about the color wheel. I end up in the corner and got my little glass of wine, and I make a brown mess. I'm not super patient. Somehow I've got like the red, blue. Anyways, it's a big brown mess. Looks like one of those Rorschach tests at the end. But I love my brown mess. I had more fun doing that than I'd had in a long time. Now, that may say a lot about my life at the time, right? I had a big corporate job. So I don't know what that means, but I took that darn soggy brown mess home. I drove home carefully. I hung it on my refrigerator. My husband and son are like, what the heck? But I got curious because it was fun. I wasn't doing it for anyone. I don't need to make money. I have a job, but I just kept playing. And we had some crayons at home. I was raising a family during this time. And so I would just play like I would in the morning if I were going to journal, 10 minutes, and I started to get really curious about why am I having so much fun? And it's because I wasn't doing it to show anyone. It was just for the pure creativity.
Right.
It's really crazy that you're on here today because I mentioned this to Matt when he mentioned he was going to start painting. Was my therapist, because I'd run into some like writer's block. I just could not write any material for anything. And she was like, you need to find a creative outlet that you're not doing for any other reason, but just to enjoy, So I ended up picking up a sketchbook, a beginner sketch kit and a how-to book, and just learned the basics of sketching. And don't get me wrong, it looks like Helen Keller tried drawing it, but I enjoy the fact that I can still kind of capture a moment in a sketch instead of having to take a picture. It's just soothing,
Right. Well, when you go home from the hospital, you're going to have to learn to put makeup on and stuff. So
I was thinking about doing makeup tutorials, because I really need to bring out the blue right here, and really accent the cheekbones.
Anyway, I know when I was going through writer's block, I started painting nudes. And I did that up until the police took away my binoculars and I couldn't see my neighbor's house anymore.
Oh, I thought you were taking pictures of people nude and then painting clothes on them.
No.
All right. Let me grab the wheel here.
No, my wheels are not to be grabbed by anyone but me. Thank you.
All right. Get in the back seat. So now I have the book here. It's called Art for Your Sanity. Those are the big words on this, but now I'm going to struggle to read. It says, no, I can't struggle to read for it over there. How art journaling can help you manage chaos and unleash your sanity, right?
Unleash joy.
Oh, joy. Unleash joy.
Because we could use a little bit more of that. You were talking about being a curmudgeon. Right?
Yeah.
And you're using paint, so you're little less curmudgeon-y, maybe? Is that the goal of the painting?
No, I'm thinking about Bob saying like a happy little bush here. For me, it would be, this is where we buried Hal.
And it'd be like, oh, fuck, this is not a happy accident. We do not want trees here.
Right. A couple of things I wanted to touch on there, because this idea of just being creative for the sake of being creative, I love it. But I also, a big part of our audience is creatives in performing arts. And I always try to stress what I learned from Bob, in that the first time somebody actually pays you for your work, it validates you and it inspires you and motivates you to do more work. So there's two parts of this. There's the part of just always needing that creative release that you're just doing for the sake of being creative. But if you are a creative artist, it's important to at least know that people are willing to put down hard-earned money to see you perform. That is a validation of who you are, and for some of us, that is what leads to sanity. So there's I guess two sides of the same coin, right?
Yeah, well, I agree with you. It's a little bit what I think Stephen was saying is, you have an outlet, in your audience being creative artists have decided that's what they want to share with the world. This is for you privately to help you. The way I've approached that, it's to help you, manage your emotions, manage transitions, manage whatever you're going through. So if you had, once again, Stephen's example is really right on point. So Art for Your Sanity isn't about actually becoming an artist. Ideally, you have other creative outlets for that. But there's a whole slew of people, like meditation, journaling. Meditation isn't for everyone. Art journaling may help quiet that mind if you're there. So if you need another outlet, because when you're looking for validation all the time from your primary thing, you're talking about the creative artist, that can put pressure, right? You can get extremely critical. This is play, right? So if you think of this as pleasure and play versus that validation, my whole sort of spiel here is you don't show it to anyone. It's not for the outcome. It's for the release, in essence, or the self-discovery that then maybe helps you in the other areas.
Self-discovery. Part of it is, for me, it's like a drug. It doesn't last. It wears off. So while I'm experiencing that joy in the doing, I definitely love the process of creating a painting, and then I'm happy with it for about 20 minutes. And then I start to feel like I sink right back. So it is kind of like medicating in some way, in that way that it's going to wear off. So I have to be painting all day long, or I have to be doing something creative that I'm not doing for money all day long.
I find it's joyful for me to sketch my own tasteful nudes. Then normally when I go shop for a sketchbook, I will ask someone in the store and say, would you mind looking at this? Does this fit the page, do you think? Is it scale 1-to-1?
And then they find out that they don't sell sketchbooks the size of postage stamps, and then he has to go to another store.
Proportion is really what you're going for, not necessarily life scale.
Right. Yeah, I just want the 1-to-1 scale,
Thank you for sharing that. Opus hopefully will find that clip.
You've all left me in a whole different place. I am not jumping in here.
Yeah, well, you're lucky. You got off easy, I think. He's generally a little more intimidating to get.
It's all right, Susan. I can't jump either. It's okay.
All right. So now, do you actually? Because the thing I was doing last night, mock class for people. This is interesting. They are using it in the corporate world. Like I think inspired by like paint and sip classes, where adults go, they have a adult beverage or something, and they do their very first painting. Somebody rumbling around back there? Who's rumbling?
I'm sorry. That was I should have muted my mic. Something distracted me. I have ADD sometimes.
You don't listen to what's going on until you listen back 12 hours later. Where was it? So they are inspired by this paint and sip thing, where they have adults go and do their very first painting. You're generally a little bit tipsy when they're doing it, but they're bringing it into the corporate world, and they're looking for people like me to go teach these during business hours. Teach. Are you involved in? Is this for corporate America that you're working with this, or is this for individuals on an individual basis?
So I've done both. I've done workshops in the middle of a strategic planning retreat right after lunch. I was like, the gig for an hour and a half, and it was a blast. And the goal was a little bit of release and fun and creativity, right? You talked about how it's sort of like a drug and you need it all day long. Well, it is. If 10 minutes, you're releasing some dopamine, some serotonin, all the good brain chemicals. And I will tell you, part of what I really drive into, right? I'm a life coach, so I live in all the woo-woo space, is the darn voice in your head that's telling you what you're doing is crap. We work really hard to not invite that voice to the little play party here. Right?
I would like you to kill that voice.
The biggest exercise in the whole book is quieting that monster that lives in our own heads.
Boy, I hate that monster. That monster is my worst enemy.
It's all of ours for sure.
Because I have to admit that because I've been in a funk for at least 6 weeks. I think these guys would probably say 6 years. It's probably more like it. But I do feel better when I'm doing this kind of stuff. It's just trying to make it last beyond a certain
30 seconds, you little goldfish.
Yes, thank you very much. So, with this, was the book written for people who are like, because my escape was generally when I was in the corporate world, which led me to this. It was an escape, a way of relaxing from all the burnout and stress I was feeling at the office. Was the book written for those people? Was it written for everyday, just anybody who's needing more joy?
It was originally written for people in life transitions, right? Which can be a big physical change, job change. We go through a transition about every 12 to 18 months, the research shows, right? And to help you through that, because you can get really anxious when you know things need to change. Sometimes it's being done to you, you lose a job, partner leaves you, whatever happens, you need some outlets to help you get through it. It can be a great conjunction with therapy, right? An additional outlet. So the book was originally targeted for people just experiencing life transitions, and none of us escape them, right? I mean, they happen. Sometimes you get 2 or 3 or 4 at once. The term is like a life quake, where it feels like your life is just getting flushed down the toilet. And in many cases, it's being done to you. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah.
So that was where the book was targeted. What I found, because you don't know when you put something out in the world, came out this summer, is it's resonated with people who are just sort of stressed and looking for a little bit of play that's not like numbing by scrolling or numbing by partying. That's like, it's hard to take yourself seriously with a crayon. It just is as an adult, right? You're holding a couple crayons or some finger paint or the darn.
Hey, speak for yourself. That's a great snack. Sorry, I had to take the shot.
Now, let me ask you: Have you walked the talk on this your whole life? Have you been doing this, or did you discover this as part of your process in life coaching? And is it something new to you, or is this something you've always done, like art journaling?
No, I discovered it totally accidentally at my friend's house probably 6-7 years ago. And because of what I was doing corporately, I had all the tools, once again, career coaching, executive coaching. I'm all loaded up on like how to be good. And part of the walk your talk is I tell anyone I was coaching, like when something sparks something in you, I use the word joy, but get you a little excited. You're like, that was fun. Follow that. There aren't a lot of those. Get really curious. So I actually sort of did what I talk about doing and kept doing it, and then got curious and ended up just wanting to share it because it's so simple. It's so inexpensive. Doesn't take any real time. I'd recommend try it 10 minutes a day. So I just thought I'd sort of put that out there in the world because people have a lot of hangups about creativity and art.
Yeah, I can attest to that. Now, when did the light bulb go off that this should be a book?
So after the art journal more or less led me to quitting a job that I had loved and gotten to the top of, I needed to do something new. And I'd always said I'd never write a book, have a background in journalism. It's like, no, I don't ever want to write. And I was never going to show pictures of my art journal because I'm a 5-year-old artist still. I've tried to not get better and I haven't, proud to say. I realized I had to write it. I'm sure you guys feel that you get compelled to share something, because I've spent my whole career, I think, sharing other people's ideas and seeing what hits. And this really hit in a different way. So I did the things I thought I would never do.
Right. The book seems pretty thick. We're looking at a picture of the book.
So the book is 3D. I'll tell you a story. The book's 109 pages with pictures. You read it in about an hour.
Okay.
And it's an immediate how-to. From my publisher, I'd only seen this darn picture, and it comes, and you're supposed to do this whole thing now where someone takes a video of you unwrapping your book and you post it. I am not of that world. I unwrapped my book, and I've never told this story other than to my best friend and my husband who witnessed. I've got my husband taping me, and I hate it. It's like a pamphlet. It's so thin. I'm like, this piece of crap, what have I done? I've written like a...
That's good to know, especially for the audience who might be considering buying it. Because my first look at this is like, wow, that seems like a lot to figure out how to just art journal. I mean,
no, 109 pages with pictures and how to. And you put books out for reviews, and the review I loved the best was, author did not use one extra word. I could read it at night in art journal the next day, because it hit my fears. You guys probably get this. It's like when I threw it across the room and I'm like, ah! And, I'm telling my husband to stop, shut off the record on the camera, because I would never post that. No, it's no longer than it needs to be. And, on my website, I've got like free downloadable PDF. Just if you're curious, just download the free thing. The book about the journey, but
yeah. So wow, I have it out. It's for sale, but if you really want it for free, you can get it for me. Wow, that's a hell of a marketing.
Yeah, I am not a marketer by nature. It's the PDF. I also have an online course. There's lots of ways to approach it, but I'm at the stage of life. I think this can really help people. So, you put it out there, and if it works for someone, that's awesome.
I have a question about the book. Because the book is about art. My thing about new books is the way they smell. I love the smell of a new book when you first open
white
it.
people too.
Hell yeah, dude. The new book smell.
And so with this book, because it's about art, does it have like a magic marker smell, or a crayon smell, or a paint smell, or like a scratch and sniff
you can't
thing?
huff the book. Stop trying to get
I'm sitting here. I've got. No, I think it's got, that sort of glossy smell that sometimes, because the covers.
But what about when you open it and you smell it in the spine,
Yeah, I used to love the ditto machine in school.
The mimeograph machine. Yeah.
Crossed the line.
This one's been out sort of, I would say, clean, fresh laundry.
Now, there used to be an adult magazine that you could actually do that with, but I'm dating myself here.
You bought the magazine,
right? I think it was called Scratch and Sniff. I'm sorry. You hit on something there that I think is very vital to the creative arts, especially in comedy and music. You talked about the economy of words, not one word or one extra word or whatever you said there, which is important. Do you do that? Was that intentional? Was that a thought process, or did that just come to you naturally? Because a lot of artists, the economizing of what you need to say is not instinctive, and we always overdo and oversell, over set up. Does that come to you naturally, or did you think about that consciously when you were writing the book?
So it came to me based on a first career in my training. I was in journalism, and it was all about economy of words, fewest words, most precise, which is why, I left that sort of scarred at a point. And it's why I didn't enjoy writing, because I did it for, 11 years professionally every word, and it took the joy out of verbal expression. So when I say I have said I would never write a book, that was why. So I had been trained when I wrote to just, if one word does it and it's a 2-syllable word versus an 8-syllable word, don't be a smarty pants and use the big word, use the simple word kind of thing. So
very cool. Because I think part of the problem with the publishing world right now is they are hyper fixated on word count. Everything, and they base genres basically on what the word count is, and then authors find themselves, well, I only wrote 60,000 words, I got to get it up to 80,000 words, and then you put in just extra words that don't need to be there. It's a big big problem with that. Now
and that's when you repeat the same words over and over again, because
I think I just said that over and over again, didn't I?
Yeah, it's just because what happens is, because to me it seems counterintuitive, because for the most part, if you don't repeat things, people don't remember them. So if you want them to remember them and absorb them, you kind of have to repeat them.
But would you say repeating stuff is necessary? I mean, have you repeated anything recently?
Me, I've repeated stuff necessary. Yeah.
I think over and over again is redundant. You could just say over again.
Yeah, but you don't remember it unless you say over and over again.
But
like you remembered, I said
we're
that.
We're definitely.
You said over and over again 15 times now. You said over and over again, over and over again.
Right. And now you remember that I said that. If I just said over again, it would have just went by and nobody would have remembered.
Can you repeat that back to me?
I'm just saying, it just seems counterintuitive when they talk about the fewer words, the better. When you want people to remember, sometimes you need to repeat, which adds additional words.
It just dawned on me why Andy Page might keep rescheduling.
Tough crowd. So I'm going to jump in on the repeat point. Right. I think if you come up with something, like I talk about, if you want to do this, bring a sense of play, curiosity, self-compassion. So I repeat that ad infinitum. I'm going to use a big word there so I don't say over and over and over again. I think they've got that now. But
or word pie. You could also say word pie, because pie doesn't end, and people understand instead of numbers you're using words. It's word pie.
Boy.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, you were making a point before he interrupted you.
No, I think I got it. It was to reiterate key concepts, right? Play, curiosity, and then compassion, which is being your own proud parent. I hung that brown mess on the refrigerator in my home, right? It's like I could love that I made a mess and played and did that. I don't recommend other folks do that, but if you're curious about art journaling, that's really all you need to play with it. And it's like anything. See what it does for you.
Now I'm curious because my mother called me her little brown mess. I didn't know you had a little black. You saying you brought a little black baby home? Is that it? I put him in the refrigerator. I'm just.
Every day we hear more about his mother, it makes me admire her so much more.
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because I hate to go pop culture or pop psychology on here, but it's kind of like remembering being a child and being more childlike and going back to that. And not everybody is capable of doing that. We are way too capable of doing that. We have 5-year-olds on this program, but I think for a lot of people, it's really hard to let go of the adult and become that child again and just free and simple and play. Allow yourself. How much of the book is dedicated to how you get into that mindset of just letting go of being an adult?
That's the opening chapter, right? It's rediscovering that child. I mean, that is exactly where it starts. It's why that little mantra of 3 I just recited starts with play, because it's really hard for adults who are fully in the achieve, success, grind, should culture. It is. It was hard for me. That's what I discovered. I wasn't working in the creative arts. I was working in a large corporation with a big team and, doing all the things, raising a family, doing caretaking. So any play felt ridiculous, right?
Right.
And that's what I discovered, that even just a little play, even if that voice in your head is like, you should be doing these 50 other things, or you're doing, you're making a mess. I can no longer say brown mess. That has been ruined for me forever. So I just want to say I heard that. It's burned into my head.
This is what he does. He ruins things for people.
He does. It's like a mind worm
strength.
now. And I only needed to hear it once, too.
Yeah. But so are there any, I don't know. I don't want you to give away. I mean, you already given away the PDF, but
the PDF was free if they went to the website.
But like secrets, because to me, they're, when you struggle with these getting into mindsets, there are definitely things that can help you. For me, it's just like eating childish, going having a devil dog and Tootsie Rolls and stuff will help me. But do you have any of those specific techniques of how to get back in touch with your inner child?
Yeah. So as it relates to art journaling, I do. Shocking. I know. They are use what you love to use as a kid, right? I talk about the Elmer's glue stick and crayons. I gavel down on do not buy fancy art supplies. If you're paying more than a couple bucks, you are paying too much because that inner critic jumps right in and doesn't want you to be wasteful. You have like fancy acrylics. You want to be staying in the whatever your discount store of choices, kids section. And that really helps that sort of inner critic and that play come out because it triggers the last time you used, I don't even want to go the crayon thing. So many of the things I normally say have just been destroyed by comments, but crayons, hard to take yourself seriously holding crayons. It just is.
Hit me right in the gut there because last night I was doing a mock presentation for a company that has reached out to me about teaching these classes. And they told me to use two brushes, they said a big flat brush and a small round brush. And I got out my Bob Ross, my real quality brushes. And the first thing they said, no, we said get the cheapest because these are beginners you're working with. And I said, but those are going to shed hair. And I started going into the whole reason why you wouldn't want to use those amateur brushes because they're going to cause you problems.
I messed up when I bought my kit. I bought it for $7, but it still had like 200 pieces in it.
Wow.
But I can kind of get what you're saying because it did give me like a sense of anxiety. It's like, I don't even know what half this shit is.
Right.
Like, why is there charcoal in here? I know what it is, but I'm just like, what the fuck? So I basically just took out the pencils that I used. Like I took out the 3 pencils that I used from the how-to book, and I just put the kit in the in my drawer, and made me feel a little better because I was like, I don't know what to do with half of this shit. I have a sketchbook. Why is there paint?
Well, hey, Steven, normally, just to let you know, when you start with charcoal, you got to put down some lighter fluid first.
Right. Yes.
Well,
also, that will make the crayons taste better because you'll have that good smoky smell, that good smoky taste.
Coincidentally, this morning your doctor was looking for a scalpel, and I just told him go to the hardware store and get a Black & Decker.
Well, and then he said the black's already here, and he's not going to deck her. So he was the gentleman.
I'm sorry, Susan. This is totally disrespectful to you, and I apologize sincerely for the mess I got you into. Is this something that is meant to be like once you start, you never finish? This is like a life process now of something that it's replacing old habits, I guess, for life, right? Or is it?
Yeah, it is pure, unadulterated self-help, self-discovery, self-awareness.
Love it.
And so if it works for you, I was doing it this morning, right? I was out there just collaging in a little frenzy for about 10 minutes. And, dog wanted out and just had to wait because I was in the zone. So
yeah. Self-discovery
I have a question about the collaging because when I was my generation, we were growing up, magazines and papers, newspapers were everywhere. So if you wanted to collage, you just went 2 feet and you had something to collage with. Newspapers, magazines, a lot of the stuff is, I guess, borderline passe. So where would they get the material to collage unless you're saying like look it up on the internet and then print it out on on your computer? But where, other than that, where would they get the collage material?
So, I mean, that's a great question because you can't even take it from doctors and dentist's office anymore because during COVID, they got rid of everything. So catalogs still seem to come. I just got a few, we're doing this December 6th. People give you greeting cards. You can save them, Chris, because there's images, can be anything you find. I like collage. So I sometimes very intentionally go and buy myself random magazines, not magazines I really want to read. I mean, maybe I'll flip through them, but that I think might have interesting pictures. So, that is one area, it's their checkout stand.
Gun and ammo.
Do you use what?
Gun and ammo.
Exactly. Yeah. You can go off your brand and see what you can create.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. So you become a pack rat, because I have a problem with greeting cards. This is the problem. I just don't ever throw them away, and then I got like a hefty bag full of them.
Well, yeah, 63 years of cards. I'm not surprised.
Thank you for making me only 63.
No. You're 108. You've been receiving cards for 63 years.
That's because 55 years ago they stopped loving you. They
went from "I love you" to "thank you" cards.
Yeah.
Thank you for not being part of my life.
Yeah, I'm interested in the phrase self-discovery, because I don't know. Introspection is not a popular. We're not encouraged to do a whole lot of introspection. We're encouraged to share opinions a lot, but not really look inward. What does self-discovery mean on when you use that term, and like a voyage of self-discovery through this process? What does that mean when you use that term? Because for me, it could be like psychotherapy.
So for me, I'll just tell you my stories. It's meant a couple things. One, as I started to just scribble, quite honestly, when I was in a rage, I used this a lot during the pandemic. Like I said, I've only been doing it 6-7 years and worked crazy during the pandemic. There's, we all lived through it. There was a lot. I would scribble. And if something got me in a particular rage, I would use 2-3 crayons and just scribble and fill the page. I actually drew a little screaming face. I mean, like with pen in the mouth going, right, and wrote, scream. What it helped me understand about myself is that given my personality, it looks like I'm really angry. Truth is, I'm really afraid in many cases. And under what I thought was like my anger and rage, I'm like, God, when did I become such an angry, rage-filled person? Very quickly, because I wasn't mentally processing it, I was emotionally processing it with color. I started to recognize that what feels like trigger anger is actually some fear or defensiveness or insecurity coming out.
Wow.
I've used therapy. I'm a meditator. I'm a journalist. I mean, I am loaded in the world of self-help tools. That was a game changer, and I felt it in myself.
This is a lesson in prejudice, folks, because I look at you, and there was no way I would assume you were a person capable of rage. People look at me and say, well, sure, he probably goes into a rage every 5 seconds. But it's surprising to me to hear you mention the word rage like 5 or 6 times. I was like, wow, she's a rager like me?
I had to go journal filled with it. I didn't rage at people, right? I'm careful with my families, but you feel it. And I would describe, and I'm thinking, who is this person on this page? But it was a safe container. I mean, there's chapters in the teeny book that talks about how your art journal becomes a place where you can process that you're not doing damage to your loved ones and friends or to yourself. A lot of people turn their rage and anger in on themselves. Quite honestly.
Not me. I had to go to anger management to discover what you just taught the world here, is that all that anger is really it's a projection of fear. What you're doing is you're afraid of something, and you're acting out to to ward off that fear. And for me, it came to punching walls, punching televisions, acting like a gorilla around the house, intimidating everybody in my world, scaring everybody away from me. So yeah, I'm glad you. It's just surprising to see that you don't have to look like this to feel that.
No, I think we all feel it. We just, some of us suppress it more than others, and then it comes out in other ways. But I mean, it's why I love the art journaling, because that turned after a few episodes with, the crayons and the screaming faces. The other self-discovery is I needed to quit the job I love, the high-paying job, and do it because it just didn't fit me anymore. I sort of transitioned and needed to do something else with my life.
Yeah, this is really important because I think a lot of people are in that space where I think this is why we are in such an angry place culturally right now. It's so many people feel like, I hate this. I hate what I got myself into, and I don't know a way out. The way out is almost, in my experience, was always just to cut the tie and walk away and take a leap of faith that there will be something else out there. I would not necessarily recommend that, but for me, that's the only thing that ever worked, because if you just hesitate and you're looking for a path out, you almost never find it, and you have to make it. You have to create it. So that's I don't know if that's good advice or bad advice. Maybe I should shut up. So the book, Susan-Hensley.com. Most people just spell. Was Susan Hensley taken, or you felt like it was?
Yeah, Susan Hensley was taken, thus Susan-Hensley.com. But I mean, that's where the free PDF is. If you're interested in the book or the courses or anything online, yeah.
I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get the PDF today. I definitely am gonna get the book because you know what? It probably will help in my paint with Matt stuff. There's understanding, because this was a big thing that came up for me last night. Remember, you're talking to beginners, and keep encouraging them to just move ahead and not be intimidated, not feel judgment and all that kind of stuff. So it's important, because I get way too involved in acting like I'm talking to people and worrying about their judging me as the art rather than just teaching the experience.
Process, right? It's meant, talk about something redundantly. I say process, not output. Process. Right. I mean, for what you're doing, Paint with Matt, you want your people in the process, not, thinking about where they're going to be and then being disappointed that they're not, the next
and not trying to sell them the final product. Like, now this is going to be in a museum somewhere. That's not the goal here. The goal is to get happy. I almost named it "Get Happy with Matt," but then people would be like, "What? You're teaching people how to be happy, you angry old bastard, you?" It's not going to work. So I'm just calling it Paint with Matt. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you bringing some joy and levity to the program this morning, and some creativity and some really good advice. So thank you for being here.
My pleasure. It was
all
great.
Right. Have a great day, and good luck with the book.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye for now. Susan Hensley, folks. Susan-Hensley.com. What happened here? Oh, Stephen co-opted everything. Is this right?
It's close enough. Close enough.
It's him
Stephen
and
Stephen usually has a different background, but it's close.
It's dopey little hospital bed there.
You have a better background.
What's that? I hear a drill in the background. There's a drill woman. So Monday, are you going to be on the program Monday, and do we have to call you Stephanie from now on?
I will be here Monday, and no, sir, the vagina didn't take.
The vagina didn't take. Most of it. Well, maybe you should stop at the Come and Go.
Maybe. Maybe.
Or the circle jerk.
Right.
That's Circle K.
Oh, Circle K, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Ron, for not bringing up Crisco oil to her at any point in that. All right, let's do some news, and then we'll regroup and figure it out.
Over 4,000 people have been killed and 16,600 injured during nearly 14 months of Israeli airstrikes and bombardments targeting Lebanon.
Health Minister Firas Abiad reported these numbers, linking most casualties to events after September 15th, when Israel intensified its campaign with large-scale attacks on Beirut's southern suburbs and southern and eastern Lebanon as part of its ongoing conflict with Hezbollah. Chris Anderson reporting.
French Prime Minister Michel Barnier has been ousted after losing the confidence of France's National Assembly, which voted in favor of a no-confidence motion, forcing his resignation.
The motion passed with a 331 to 247 vote, supported by a coalition of right and left-leaning ministers. Barnier, 73, resigned just 3 months after becoming Prime Minister in September, marking the shortest term in French history. His removal signals the collapse of the government, leaving the remnants of his cabinet in charge for now. Benjamin Wright reporting.
Following the South Korean State Council's decision to officially lift martial law, South Korean President Yoon Suk Yeol's chief of staff, along with 9 other senior presidential secretaries, announced their resignations.
The presidential office in South Korea confirmed to reporters on Wednesday morning, local time, that Chief of Staff Jong Jin-seok and the other senior staff members have stepped down in response to the president's lifted declaration. Joseph Eckerson reporting.
How much you want to bet that when he did that story,
this is the latest news headlines.
He picked the one Korean name he could pronounce and did that one and the others. So
Right. A California art teacher has died after contracting rabies from a bat she discovered in her classroom.
Leah Sineng, 60, passed away on November 22nd, roughly a month after finding the bat in her Fresno classroom and removing it to prevent her students from being exposed. Sineng was hospitalized on November 18th at St. Agnes Medical Center in Fresno after experiencing fever and uncontrollable shaking. She was placed in a medically induced coma the following day. Jessica Oakley reporting.
A 7-year-old boy accidentally shot and killed his 2-year-old brother after discovering a gun in the glove box of a truck, according to California authorities.
The shooting occurred just before 4 p.m. Monday in a parking lot in Rancho Cucamonga, the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department reported. Sheriff's spokesperson Gloria Huerta stated that the boy's mother was unloading items outside the truck at the time, and the incident appeared to be accidental. Kevin Sanders reporting.
Russia's top general recently held a previously undisclosed conversation with his U.S. counterpart, warning about upcoming test launches of hypersonic missiles in the eastern Mediterranean Sea.
General Valery Gerasimov contacted General C.Q. Brown, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, to caution that U.S. Navy vessels should avoid the target area for safety. The discussion also addressed Ukraine and the need to prevent miscalculations in the ongoing conflict between the U.S. and Russia. Lawrence Keller
General Valery
And that's the
Wackenhoff.
latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
See, now you find a bat in the classroom. I would just get the kids out of the room. Kids run out of the room. You don't approach the bat. I mean, the woman is a hero. The art teacher is a hero. God bless her, whatever. I would not go. I'd call, I don't know, animal. What do you call it?
Animal control.
Animal control. Thank you. Control was the word I was struggling for. But, you just get the kids out of the room. You don't go get the bat. But rabid. Like, how did the bat get rabies? Because generally, they get it from other bats. And why would they go in a classroom? They're afraid of closed spaces.
Rabies makes them do irrational. See, that's one of the traits of characters of an animal with rabies, that they act in a way that's not natural for them.
But they're afraid of water.
So a nocturnal animal might show up in the daytime.
That's how you can generally tell if a raccoon's got it, is when they'll not just come out during the day, but they'll start coming towards you, and they'll start,
Or there's nocturnal missions at night.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, true. Nocturnal emissions. Yeah.
That's what I call schlong division.
I do that in my sleep.
Batshit crazy story. Yeah.
That has ruined Cucamonga for me forever, because I only knew that town because of Warner Brothers.
No, Johnny Carson used to say it all the time, right?
But it was introduced to me because of Warner Brothers, because of
Frito-Lay has a plant there.
Frito-Lay?
Yeah, they have a plant in Rancho.
In Rancho Cucamonga.
Yep.
I want to meet the guy who named that town.
Did you see the video of the woman who got heckled at the Knicks game for singing the national anthem? She was singing the national anthem, and she got heckled.
For because you were singing it bad, or
yeah, it was just this is from the Knicks game. Let's see.
What you trying to do?
We're not going to get a copyright strike because the national anthem is copyrighted, right?
Francis, what is
Francis Scott Key, the estate of Francis Scott Key.
Oh, we saw Ron's desktop there for a second. That was interesting, but nobody in New York was heckling it.
No, let's see.
What happened to you? You're usually so smooth with this stuff. Uh-oh. You said woman. This looks like a girl.
Whose broad stripes and bright stars through the
Wow.
for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly free.
No, it seems to be doing an okay job with it. That's a hard song to sing.
That wasn't the worst version I've heard. Professionals
Definitely,
sing
I've heard Sheryl Crow do a much worse version.
Yeah, I've heard big names do fucking horrible jobs at that song.
Fucking Nick fans. Nick fans are classless, man.
So it seemed like she was doing okay, then somebody yelled something at her, and then she turned around, and then she couldn't get her composure back.
Right, it's a fucking kid, man.
Well, yeah, you're a kid in front of like 20,000 people or 10,000, however many's in there, and you're trying to sing this really hard song, and some asshole is like, "You suck." Go fuck that guy.
The Knicks, they're not part of it. They're not part of the United States. Well, they probably still had a lot of Nazis left over from the Trump rally.
Yeah, unlike the Pacers. Pacer Nation, baby. Anyways.
Oh. I was watching their Reggie Miller thing. And you remember when he the Pacers were down like 300 points with 7 seconds left to go, and Reggie Miller just kept dropping threes all over the place.
Yeah, Reggie Miller was a beast, was not to be messed with for sure.
His sister was even more of a beast. It's just nobody knows it. Cheryl Miller.
Right.
Cheryl Miller is actually a better ball player than Reggie.
Regina.
Yeah.
It was just him in a dress, actually.
I don't remember Reggie being in here with me getting a sex change done. That's weird.
Yeah, Reggie Miller's sister Cheryl used to beat him at basketball all the time when they were kids, and she was a beast.
The real I saw just had NBA pros one after another, and they would just kept saying the same thing. Never saw anything like that before in my life. Never saw anything like. I remember just being angry as hell. Like, why did at that point when you're the Knicks, you got to consider foul play. Like, somebody shoot this fucking guy.
Now, who was the coach back then of the Knicks? Because I know Pat
Riley. I think it was Riley.
Because Pat Riley, he's the one that thugged up the Knicks. And he also thugged up the Heat. I mean, at one point, he went from being just a good strategic coach to just thugging things up. That was his thing.
Yeah. Was it Riley or Van Goosjoom, whatever that guy was?
Oh yeah, Vandenhoepel or whatever. Right. They say the Knicks. I'll look it up. I can't remember Knicks coach Van
Schniggy Schnagger Schnuger. So we have no guests for the second hour. This is just what we're gonna do. So you be funny, you guys. This is what you guys are paid for. This is why you guys get the big money. Be funny. Go ahead.
No, I can't. That's all I got.
So I reached out. Jeff Van Gundy.
Van Gundy.
There you go.
Why was that hard to remember? Now Jeff Van Gundy had a twin brother who was a coach of another team, right? At the same time. It was Stan Van Gundy and Jeff Van Gundy. I think maybe.
I thought it was Solomon Gundy, but that's okay. I sent a text to Elizabeth to see if she was available for the second hour.
I asked her 2 days ago. She said she had to check with her mother.
Oh, right.
But yeah,
because
I was panicking.
Because Liz's mother punished her for going to the Supreme Court without permission and a chaperone. And so Liz is grounded, and she had to check with her mother to see if she could come on the show.
I think she knows that she's titillating me. Can I say titillating? Yeah. Did you get excited when I said titillating? She keeps sending me these pictures of her in her youth. Last night she sent me one, and I was like, "Why are you doing this to me?"
She was also. I was talking to her yesterday while she was at the Supreme Court after the show, and she was getting all sorts of weird like logins in different places on her social media. So
she said somebody was trying to log into StreamYard as her yesterday, which I find like weird. How would they even? CD, could you send her an invite? Because I was trying to do that while we were having that conversation. Is Elizabeth hot? Let me just tell you, in her 20s and 30s or wherever she's sending me these pictures from, she is the perfect woman. The perfect woman. I'm not kidding.
I'm sorry, Matt. You said me to send her, but she never got back to me saying that she wanted to
just send her an invite just in case.
All right. How do I do that?
We'll probably on the bottom there it says invite.
Here,
you know
I
what?
got
Maybe
GD. I'll send it to her.
Somebody do it because I'm inept.
I got it.
Okay. I know how to send her an invite.
Look, Steven is he's doing his best GD Fenderson imitation there.
Smile so we can see you, Steven.
Put on the step and fetch. Let me hear the step and fetch it voice.
Lordy, I swear to God.
No, you do Alex Jones a lot better than that. I'm sorry. You guys know who Van Meter is?
Mm-mm.
Good for you. Well, you wouldn't because you're too young. Well, GD's not too young, but the other two guys are too young. Van Meter is a guy who made his living off of doing John Kennedy impersonation. It was a comedian, and he did John Kennedy impersonations, and then Kennedy got assassinated, and Meter was like out of a gig, and he drank himself into oblivion, and his career went shot. Jackie was on the program. Jackie was on the program talking about that about 2 years ago. Last night, some dude who was a friend of Von Meter took major offense to that and was saying, well, Meter, it's a sad story, but he continued to work, but he became an alcoholic and went into oblivion because of all the problems that it caused him. You think Jackie would have a heart about this, knowing that Jackie's career ended too, and he did it to himself? I was like, no, Jackie's career didn't end. Jackie gave up a $600,000 a year job to go back to doing what he enjoyed doing, and he's still working at, and he got sober. So it's the opposite of Vaughn Meter. But this guy is really angry.
I think if that guy really wanted to do a good impersonation of Kennedy, he would have had somebody cap him in the head.
Yeah,
we have to talk about the real stories that are affecting people. Like Hawktua and her meme coin that
right, she went up $500 million and then down to like $6 in 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm curious about this.
I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about. What do you mean?
Hawktua started a crypto like Fisto coin,
like a Hawktua coin.
Yeah, Hawktua, yeah. And investors went crazy. They bought $500 million of it in 20 minutes and crashed it in the same 20 minutes down to like worth, less than your socks. And
now she's being sued. Now there's a class action lawsuit, I think, against her because people have lost their life savings. I mean,
well, what would be the grounds for suing her? Did she do something to crash it?
What he said.
I mean, it's not. It would be different.
That's what they're questioning is the stability of this.
I didn't make you invest. I just put it out there in case you wanted to invest. You invested. Fuck you. You're stupid.
It'd be different if she took the money in. And then she went, this is a worthless stock. I'm selling my stock. Then they could sue her. Kind of like what,
Even then.
Yeah, but that would be intentionally tanking it, which is against SEC rules, I think. You can't do something to intentionally. Okay, you can, but you're not supposed to do things to intentionally artificially inflate your stock or deflate it, supposedly.
So now this is what because I asked my wife, who knows a little bit about Fisto. I think she's heavily invested in Fisto, actually. Can anybody? I could create my own crypto coin.
I believe so. Yeah.
How? How do I do that?
I have no fucking idea.
Because I'm led to believe that Bitcoin, there's like a limited number of Bitcoin, which is what gives it its value, right?
Supposedly, but they keep making more anyway. So if it's a limited number and they keep making more, then it's not a limited number.
So it's not any different than the U.S. dollar, because the reason we got off the gold standard was so that we could print money anytime we fucking wanted, right?
Yeah, but that's the beauty of that's the beauty of Fisto currency. There's a bit physicality.
Every time you say that, my sphincter hurts. So wait, how do I find
the
out?
Festivities.
Like there's already doggy coin. Doggy. How do I how do I find out how I create a coin? I mean, if anybody can do it, to a coin.
I don't know. Let me ask Grok how to create a crypto coin.
Wow, I never thought of asking Grok anything.
Hey, you should ask Grok. Does it only take 250 million to buy a presidency?
Wait, there's so many questions for Grok.
Right.
I think
you're gonna confuse Grok.
So to build your own blockchain or cryptocurrency, you have to define the purpose, clearly define what you want to create or why you want to create a cryptocurrency, what does it solve or what niche does it fill, choose a consensus mechanism, decide how the transactions will be validated, examples given, proof of work, proof of stake, each has implications for security, decentralization, and energy use, develop the blockchain, which is programming, setting up your nodes, create the cryptocurrency itself, design the coin's properties like total supply, divisibility, how new coins are minted.
Could you ask Grok to explain that for a retard? In terms of retard, like me, could understand.
It says right here, for retards, find somebody smart to do it for you. So, yeah.
All right, ask Grok, how do you find somebody smart? Because
it said right there, see
it says
Steven.
Not here.
Oh, it says see Steven.
Examples given, Steven Ortiz. Shit.
I don't know. Have you seen his come and go fucking meme? It's not really. All right, that's a show for you folks. Thanks for coming. I do have a show today. Third show this week in a facility deal. But here's the thing. You know Mikey. You remember Mikey the Nazi? Mikey the Nazi. You remember him?
Macazzi.
Denazzi. That sounds like that's a good Italian name.
I said Macazzi, but
Denazzi. Mikey the Nazi.
Denazzi.
So
hey, Denazzi, manja.
The gig today is at his facility where he's the administrator. Now, I said when I was approached with this gig, I said, "Did you clear it with the Nazi?" And she said, "Yeah, he's okay with it." But they don't know he's a Nazi. But they're gonna find out today because people
all
are gonna ask.
All of your songs have been reworded so it says Mike the Nazi.
Yeah. But I'm gonna see the Nazi, and I don't do well with these kind of things. I'm gonna fucking curse him out and call him a Nazi prick and whatever. But I still have his amp and guitar here. I have to bring back to him. I don't know, and 1,000 Rockin' 45s business cards, which he doesn't even know how to make because it's all my design and all that stuff. It's gonna be a little bit awkward. Is the point I'm getting at? It's like one of those things where I don't know. I don't want to sound like a homoerotic or anything. It's got to be like one of those things where you see your ex for the first time, and then you're like,
left this shit at my house when I was fucking in the ass.
Deep elderly insertion. Is that for Steven or for me? Because I'm not sure. DEI.
Well, no, I mean, Muskie is always talking about DEI, so
right.
Deep elderly insertion. I mean. He paid for Trump's cock, so he's getting it.
Very good. All right. I appreciate
so Matt, you can sing the third Reich will not die. So I want you out my life, Mike the Nazi.
I appreciate the effort you put into, and it's funny. But I think I talked about this before because I think this would be viral if we could get you to sound like a real Long Island guinea, and go around to like delis and order like
I can sound like a real Long
with
Island
some.
guinea. I'm very
Well, you didn't. Yeah, I want you.
No, because I don't have a thing in my head to model it after.
You got Amare. Because Dean Martin was, even though he's from Ohio, he was doing a Long Island guinea.
Oh yeah, I would have to practice that because I could probably do it with his words because I've heard them and it would just be mimicking him. But if I put different words, I have to think of those words and I can't focus on the accent.
Here's your guitar and amp, mein Führer.
Or maybe you could tell him he doesn't understand your struggle of getting it to him.
So Matt, what you do is you get little stickers, and change all of the numbers and words on there to German. When you get it, so instead of volume, it says like Volume-Stein or whatever it is. Loudness. I'm tune. Whatever.
You know what?
I don't know German.
Maybe get him 99 Luftballons too.
I was thinking because generally when I go in there, they basically they have this thing that does a facial recognition of you, and it takes your temperature and all this stuff. But then you get like a pass and all that stuff. And I was just thinking of just leaving his equipment out there and just typing in there, tell the Nazi his shit's out in the lobby. I don't know. But
they wouldn't know which Nazi to talk to. They'd have like 30, 40 people out there claiming it's theirs.
In any event.
We haven't even talked about the other story that's pressing the nation right now.
Which is that?
And that's the outrage over the 2024 Spotify Wrap.
I've been avoiding the Spotify Wrapped for I don't know, personal reasons. In 2023 and 2022, the Wrapped was really positive about this program.
I don't know. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Spotify gives you a wrap on basically how you did on that year and how what performed well on the Spotify network and all that stuff. For the last 2 years, it has been really, really positive about this program and about my evening program, which is now curtailed to one night a week. It used to be 7 nights a week. But so I was boasting about how well we did in the Wrapped, and Zach Wiseman, who was for a brief time hosting for me while I was out shooting a film, came back with some really negative shit. Like, yeah, I make up my own numbers. I didn't make up any of the fucking numbers. I shared Spotify what they said about the numbers. But he was giving me some shit like I'm making up numbers because that's how good the fucking numbers were. A number in the top 1% of content producers and all that kind of. Well, it was really flattering and good stuff to hear. But this year. Not to blame it on you guys, but listen, I was doing really great before you three came along. This year, I'm down to like in the top 200% from the top 1%. So
yeah, the other thing about it too, it really drills down. It gives you like all your statistics of like what you're listening to over the past year, and like this year, it was very light because they used AI to help put some of this shit together, and
I can blame it on AI.
That's what they're blaming. That's what the people are blaming it
anymore. I haven't used Spotify in 2 years.
I just wanted to point out to people too that those numbers are Spotify specific, so that doesn't mean we're not doing well on YouTube or Rumble or wherever the hell that we might not be doing all that well, but. It doesn't take into account all the other platforms we're on when you hear those numbers on Spotify.
Yeah, basically it's like if your browser gave you your stats for the year, you visited Fister.com 300 times.
Hold on to the Nazi guitar. You saw that Kevin Spacey movie. What? No, I don't know what he's talking about. Do you know what he's talking about? Kevin Spacey movie, Nazi guitar? What?
I'm going to Google it. I don't know. Kevin Spacey and Nazi guitar.
Oh, that scared Steven away. It made, maybe the drill bit showed up. But I think, what was the movie where he was a time traveler guy? Remember that? That was a good Kevin Spacey had some good movies for a kiddie raper, a little boy raper. He made some really good movies. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, he's in a movie. He's in a Christmas movie. It's called The Ref, which is very good. It's got Dennis Leary in it.
Wow, Dennis Leary in a Christmas movie. Go figure.
Yeah, me and my wife watch that movie every Christmas. And
is Ian now calling himself Matt Timney? Because Matt Timney is seemed to have taken Ian's place in the chat room. Like 90% of these comments are Matt Timney, where 90% of the comments used to be Ian, Evil Ian.
Yeah. The only thing I can find with Kevin Spacey, I googled Kevin Spacey and Nazi guitar, and it came up Kevin Spacey just claimed his dad was a neo-Nazi, but that's not why he turned out gay.
Wow, your grok is all fucked up.
I'm just saying.
Your grok is drinking in the morning. It's drinking. It's starting to booze a little early.
And have you
grok sounds funny in the morning.
You should watch Swimming with Sharks. That's a Kevin Spacey movie too. It's from the 90s. It's very good.
Nazi guitar in porn stars. Porn. P-O-W-N. Porn. If you're a guinea from New York, it sounds like you're saying porn when you're saying porn. The Nazi plate.
That didn't help. You said it sounds
I
like
know, because it sounds like you're saying porn when you're saying porn.
Yeah, it didn't help.
I know. Not to be redundantly redundant, or say things over and over and over again, and over and over and over.
Or get caught up in a word pie.
Right. Susan Hensley was a good guest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was fun.
And she rolled with the punches very well.
Yeah, and she didn't run away. I would have ran away.
And she even liked the little brown mess.
The movie he won an award for. He won a lot of awards. I mean, he was Glenn Ross. I used to do a good Kevin. Me and Davey would do Will You Go to Lunch from Glenn Ross. That was Kevin Spacey. Will you go to lunch? Will you go to lunch? That was our big thing. Pretty good, right?
That's funny. I didn't see that movie. I saw a part of it only because for some reason people used to call me Glenn Ross.
Because for some reason.
Yeah. I mean, I know my name is Glenn, but that's not a reason to call me Glenn Ross. You know,
it is. Of course it is. There's two Glens in the name of the movie. So,
and so I watched part of it just to find out why. But I don't know why I started watching it and it just started. I kept thinking Death of a Salesman, so I didn't finish watching it. I don't know. I don't even know if there's anything similar.
So many great people in that movie. Jack Lemmon, Alan Arkin, Al Pacino.
Was that the one where the prize that they were fighting, trying to get, was actually imaginary and it didn't exist, but they didn't know it? Everybody's trying to get this one thing, like the sales list or the sales book.
Yeah,
and it didn't
no,
really
it wasn't
exist.
like imagine. It's kind of based on a real estate scam that was, during the 80s and 90s, there was all this Rio Rancho bullshit where real estate scams and all these salesmen, they were like encyclopedia salesmen. They would come to your house and sell you on a Rio Rancho investment. Glenn Ross was a real thing like that, but they were all like Alec Baldwin came in, Mitch and Murray downtown were holding like a sales contest, but the other rest of you guys are going to get fired, and then put that coffee down. That coffee's for closers. That kind of, he was like a hard ass coming in with the.
Okay, I remember people saying that a lot too. Like we'd be at the bar and he said, "Put that beer down. Beer is for closers." And I'm like, okay, yeah. Put that girl down. Girls are for closers.
Yeah. Something.
Put that cock down. Cock is for closers.
American Romance. Yeah, that was a weird movie. He was. I think he was like fixating on his neighbor's daughter or something, but the neighbor was like a tough, hard-ass Marine type of guy who ended up being gay. I think he ended up, instead of nailing the...
That's American Beauty. That's American Beauty.
That's what he saw. That's the movie Kevin Spacey, and he called it American Romance. But you're right, it is called American Beauty, which is named after a rose. But I'm not sure. This is my twisted, or maybe my homoeroticism coming out. Stephen taking spots there. I'm not sure if he banged the neighbor's daughter or he actually banged the neighbor Marine guy.
Neither.
What did I miss?
I think he had sex with the Marine guy.
No. He
What?
was infatuated.
That's just my homoeroticism. I'm sorry. You explain the true story now. Maybe I just imagine that. Well,
yeah, he was infatuated with his daughter's friend, but then the neighbor's dad thought that Kevin Spacey was trying to make a pass at him because Kevin Spacey was having this midlife crisis. He's like working out, and like the dad is, a
Are we talking about?
Well, initially he thought Kevin Spacey was doing his son, or that his son was doing Kevin Spacey. Remember, he went to buy drugs, and it looked like he was giving him a blowjob.
Are we talking about what Kevin Spacey did in real life or in a movie?
No,
a movie.
Okay.
But I think we should come together as a collective and rewrite the synopsis of this movie on like Rotten Tomatoes or something, and just fuck people up with what to expect.
In the chat, I'm not sure. Have you ever seen the parody trailer of Glengarry Glen Ross?
No.
I'm gonna put that in the private chat. Check that out. This thing is years old, but it's great.
Wow.
It's in there. Check it out. It's fucking funny as hell.
Yeah.
It will make you appreciate that movie even more. It's fantastic.
Can we do something like this? Like I'll create a website where we just make a really bad synopses. Is that the plural of synopsis? Synopses of old movies, and we rewrite what the movie's really about and give people like a real fucked up take on what the thing is. We'll call it not Rotten Tomatoes, but I don't know. Something like that.
Listen, this movie that ends with a murder, let's make it more fun.
How about Rotten Tomatoes?
Oh, look at you.
Okay.
How about Rotten Tomato sauce?
Rotten Tomatoes, get out of here.
Rotten Tomato sauce. Not gravy.
It's
not gravy.
Are you marinara, huh? What's wrong with you? Are you fucking slow? Anyway.
Yeah. What happened to you, Stephen? They found the drill and you got scared and you ran away?
No, it was infectious disease.
You ran away, I said, and he didn't. See, I feed him his favorite fucking straight line, and he just whiffs on it. Just watches it go straight across the plate.
He lobbed it to you. You did. You lobbed it to him, and he missed it.
And now the nurse is like touching him inappropriately. Look. Did you look at the face he's making?
That's what happens when they don't use the right lube. They should use Crisco.
Yeah, this program is brought to you by Crisco Hospitals. Crisco Hospitals, the place to stay.
Is that Mr. Ortiz? We're here with the specular.
When he turns his camera off, they're doing something nasty to him.
Mr. Ortiz, we're here with the speculum. Could you please pass us the Crisco?
Sir, I wanted to show my girlfriend your Nazi guitar and amp. Don't give up on me, sir. What? See, maybe we should invite Matt Timney to write for Rotten Tomato Sauce. I don't know what that means. I don't know. But I feel like he's.
I don't know if that's a quote from. I don't know if that's a quote from the movie or if he was actually talking about your guitar and amp behind you.
Yeah, no,
those are the Nazi guitar and amps. That's
no, that's in a fucking. His guitar's in a bag over there. It looks like a Jaguar, but it's not a Jaguar.
It's from a movie. It's from a movie.
Yeah, Gender. It's a Fender Jazzmaster. And
it's a Gender Jazzmaster.
And a Fender Mustang amp is what I'm bringing back to him. It's typical Nazi gear. Like that. That's what you would expect the Nazi to use. He can't even play guitar, by the way, even though it's like 2 chords. Why does he even want his guitar back?
I have a Fender bass amp.
Of course you do. I wouldn't think you'd have a Gibson, son.
No, I rebelled and refused to buy any Fender products because people assumed I would buy a Fender because my last name.
Right.
And they kept saying, you should buy a Fender and write SON at the end of it. And I'm like, no.
Wow, low-hanging fruit you resisted?
Yeah. I
Wow.
resisted. Yeah.
Yeah. If you go to the Rockin'45s.com right now, you'll see a black page. So it says the Rockin' 45s, America's favorite party band, and that's it. Because the webmaster quit the band, and I had said, you want to let me just keep the guitar, I'll fix it for you. I'll put the website back and make it all nice for you. But he said, no, he wanted his guitar. The Nazis wants his guitar back. So
okay.
Hey, remember
Ron?
the big movie that's opening this weekend is Night Bitch.
Gladiator 2?
What is it?
It's called Night Bitch.
I thought it was Gladiator 2.
Nope, Night Bitch opens this week, and we'll see if anyone goes to see the Night Bitch.
Who's in Night Bitch?
That's Amy Adams, and it's about a woman who turns to a dog every night.
But she's hot, right?
Or when she takes her makeup off. Or when she takes off her makeup.
Amy Adams. I just want to see. She hot?
Yeah, she's attractive.
No, she's not the one. She's not the one I'm thinking of. I was thinking of the one from the Wedding Crashers. That's not her, right? The redhead from the Wedding Crashers. No, is that Isla Fisher?
Yeah, that's a different woman.
Yeah. She was hot, that redhead from the Wedding Crashers. Whatever happened to her?
She was also in Now You See Me.
Can we get her on the show? You got her number? Get her on the
too.
show. Can you get her on the show?
She was married to Sacha Baron Cohen.
Wow. I meant wow. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Wow.
Wow.
Not why. I know why sounds judgmental.
Wow. Yeah. Why? Wow. 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 Why? Wow. All right.
He must be very humorous because I understand funny men can do that.
Did you guys get snow yesterday?
We did. I did. I don't know about Ron.
You and Ron are in the same neighborhood. You're like a block away, right?
Yeah, but we have two different weather systems.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you guys get a dusting like me, or did you get because they said the forecast was for a blizzard. I don't know if you heard. Again, I got that from Fox News. So
we got a dusting of snow with 40 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts.
Wow. What are we getting here?
There she is.
Wow. See, I always had a thing for redheads. I don't know. Now, I'm not sure how. I think I know. Where my thing for redheads come from, but I'm not sure how these things get.
Mine came from Rita Hayworth.
Wow, mine came from there was a movie, a Christmas movie. Wow, weird. No, it wasn't a Christmas movie. I'm sorry. It was a movie called Necromancy with Orson Welles in it when I was a kid, and obviously not a kid movie. I don't know what the fuck we were doing in the movie theater, but as a little kid, but there was definitely a Santa Claus. In the movie, he was like Santa Claus and the devil in the same movie, but there was a redhead.
And Santa,
huh?
Satan and Santa.
Yeah, Satan Claus. But there was a redhead in the movie with, and this is like one of the first times I saw tits on a big screen, and she had these big pointy tits. And I'm pretty like hard nipple, pointy hard nipples.
Yeah, you realize that back then it was the bras were made of iron, right?
I think I'm reliving the moment right now. But it was like a 7-8-year-old kid. I think it was the first time I got like hard because of what I saw on the screen, and I think that's what implanted my redhead fetish.
What was the name of the movie?
Necromancy, yeah. It's like the love of the dead. It was like having, which is not necessarily a Christmas movie or a kid's movie, but I remember we were seeing it at Christmas time, and there was Santa Claus in it. Orson Welles.
1972.
Yeah, 72. So I was actually older. I was 12, right, in 72. So, yeah.
There's a picture from it.
Well, very weird. So, but not a movie you would want your kids to go see, or you would even let your kids go see.
Yeah, that does look like a weird one.
Is there a Rotten Tomato sauce write-up of Necromancy?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Oh yeah, the trailer. Yeah, let's see, Rotten Tomatoes. Are you there?
Necromancy is oh no, that movie. I should put in movie, right? Because they don't want to tell me what necromancy. I know what it is. You fucking like Kurt, fucking in the morgue.
Well, yeah, the according to IMDb, 1972, PG. Mr. Cato is the head of a witches' coven in the town of Lilith, where he needs the powers of Lauren Brandon to raise his son from the dead. Mary
Right. That's the dude who was in the a television show called The Rookies. He was a cop. The Rookies. You remember? GD, you got to remember this.
Yeah, I remember The Rookies. Yeah.
Yeah. The lead guy in that was in. I forgot until I just saw a little bit of the trailer. The main rookie guy. It was.
Yeah, but I didn't watch it. I don't remember who was in it.
You can
Orson Welles. Michael Onkeen. That's his name. So Orson Welles, Pamela Franklin, and Michael Onkeen starting the movie. Orson Welles would basically do anything at that point in his career. I mean, he was basically a whore.
Well, if you want to watch the movie, I just put it's on YouTube, and the link is in the private chat. If you want to watch the entire movie,
I wonder what is it like? It's not like R-rated or anything. It probably
no,
PG.
PG. It is PG.
Because there was just that one titty scene.
Yeah, that's when, like the 70s and 80s, you could have a PG movie with titties in it. It was acceptable.
Yeah. I almost want to relive my first boner by going and watch the movie, just finding that one scene and seeing if the titties match my imagination.
Well, there you go. The link is there, Matt. Have fun today.
Where's the link? I don't see no link. Oh, it's in the private chat.
It's in private chat.
Speaking of titties, Steven's back.
They're called moobs,
Stephanie's
not
back.
titties. Moobs.
What?
Moobs, man boobs.
Oh, it's not called boobs. Like
Monday when you on Monday you're going to be Stephanie, and we'll call them boobs then, right? They will be Stephanie.
I don't know, Matt, but if you're going to keep referencing my body and objectifying it or subjectifying it, you're going to need to start paying.
Is that the redhead with the boobs? That is right.
I've never seen the movie, so you have to tell us.
I think that's probably her. I don't.
They have a dog in the background, or is that a statue of a dog?
That's a statue of a dog.
It's a statue.
What I remember is her being in bed and just sitting up with her pointy titties. And for I guess I was 12. I thought I was younger than 12, but for me, it was like an astonishing like moment for me.
Wait, they had screens when you were 12?
Yeah, what films? Yes.
Wow.
And color films.
Because
I could tell she was redheaded. She was redheaded, and the red matched the red of her nipples, which is nice. It's a nice artistic touch where you're color coordinating your redhead.
Yeah.
And that's we got on this because of that.
That's like the carpet matching the drapes and the floor tile.
And the knobs, the television.
The door knobs.
The volume knobs.
Yeah.
So, speaking of volume knobs, here's a weird thing for you. No, I'm not going to talk about it. Forget it. You're intrigued now, aren't you? You really want to know?
No.
You are. You want to know about the volume knob story, and I'm not going to tell it.
Okay, I really.
Every time Steven comes on camera, he decides to turn off his mic so he can have like a pornographic discussion with the nurse.
No,
is it a male nurse?
No.
You had to think about it.
Well, no, I didn't think about it. The reason I keep muting it is because there's a lot of beeping in the background and stuff, and I didn't want to.
We like beeping.
You like beeping? Okay.
My wife put up Christmas lights that make me feel like I'm getting pulled over. They're not like traditional Christmas lights. They're like flashing red and green. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm getting pulled over in my living room. What the fuck is going on here?
Oh, hey, by the way.
Funny because, go ahead, Ron.
Ron is speaking.
I found a picture from that movie with that redhead, and her boob is out, Matt.
You don't show it on here though. You'll get us banned.
Yeah, we can't.
No, I'm not going to show it on here, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's in the private chat. It's in the private chat.
Obviously, he says.
I can't put it in the private chat. I've cut off the picture, but here is the picture. Don't worry, you can't see anything.
Oh yeah. Oh. See, now you can see why. You can see why, as a 12-year-old, I would be that left an imprint.
Hey,
wow.
I just seen
Matt,
that picture, and I was like, all right.
The only
did they let you show the
penis in your hand?
They let you show a rotary phone on
yeah, did you ever see a rotary phone before, Steven?
I've used a rotary phone.
Did it give you a Woody?
Once I got to the third number. Yep. Once I got to the third number, I was like, oh.
I think Matt is not letting go of this Nazi guitar thing. He's got 100 little stealing bread out of the mouth of it. That Nazi guitar is in the table.
It's because he's got in his head, he's got the Nazis marching to the Beach Boys.
Wow, you know the Beach Boys. The Beach Boys.
The Beach
Boys.
Boys.
I turned into a real guinea there. The Beach Boys. You know the Beach Boys. Huh.
No, I think it'd be more like the Righteous Brothers.
It's me, an apple.
Now, Steven, what's a Beach Boys song? Give me a Beach Boys song.
Oh, like Gasoline, you wanna pump me, right? Is that one of them? No, is that close? I'm heavily medicated. Yes,
fun till her daddy took the T-bird away.
No, there's one. I listen. I remember the
California
song
Girls.
Maybe that's it.
Wait, fun. Yeah, that you're right. That I thought because you're right. That is a Beach Boys because Jan and Dean and the Beach Boys had a lot of similar. But you're right. Fun. Was a Beach Boys song.
Hold on. There's a song named after a city in my state. Kokomo.
Kokomo is a Beach Boys song. You got that from me because I told you that. Yeah.
It's Surfing
But that was. Oh, let me just clarify. That was not the real Beach Boys. That was Mike Love's Beach Boys in the 1990s, late 1990s.
What about Surfing the USA?
Surfing USA, yes.
Okay.
Also, Surf City, but
those are the only ones I know for sure.
That's Crack the Sky. That's Crack the Sky.
Those are the real Beach Boys. Brian, I just did a reel on Brian Wilson. Didn't get much play at all. I always thought it would have done much better than it would because all the.
Wait a minute. Wasn't Charles Manson one of the original Beach Boys?
Looks like it.
No, Dennis Wilson, who was the original Beach Boy, he's one of the Wilson brothers, was recruited by Charles Manson. He was at a lot of the parties. Charles Manson demanded that the Beach Boys do a cover of one of his songs. Dennis Wilson said, "Yeah, okay, we'll do it," and then they didn't do it. And so I think Dennis Wilson was on the original hit list of the people that Manson.
He was on the hit list.
They look gayer than
my understanding is that one of those people was actually in the house that he used to live in, and that's why they got butchered because they went to the house looking for him, and he had moved out.
That's right. You're correct in that. That's true. Yeah, I think the LaBiancas were in the house that.
That's the way I remember it, but I could be totally wrong because
they also. I think Abigail Folger was on she was part of it, right? The Folgers.
the
best part of waking up. Yeah, the best part of waking up
is a Manson in your
the Manson family in your house.
Yeah.
The best part of waking up.
Did you watch?
Wait, you copyright infringement bastard! Don't you ever sing that?
Oh, my bad.
Well, did you watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kevin Spacey in that.
Yeah, it's a great fucking movie. And
you know what?
They addressed the Manson murders in that movie.
Have you guys ever seen House of Cards with Kevin Spacey?
Yeah,
no, but I now I have to go back and watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But no, what House of Cards is like a political thing, right?
Yeah, it was a remake of, or not a remake. It was a spin on a European version of the show for Parliament. But yeah, it just follows Kevin Spacey's character as president through his re-election,
the congressman.
Through congressman. And what's crazy is I watched the whole thing. And there was a documentary about it where several presidents went on and said that's not far off from how it really is. Like the backroom deals and the hidden murders and
you say bathroom deals? You mean like the hand
bathroom,
under
back
the
door,
stall?
back room. Yeah.
Matt Timney says pipeline, and God, I am so full of dementia. I can't remember the guy's name. The Guitar Hero, the guy who did the
Guitar Hero. That was my favorite game.
No. The guy who invented that really fast strum, the Fender Stratocaster sound, where he developed the sound.
Okay.
What's his name?
I got his picture right here, I think.
Oh.
Hey, I sent you that in confidence, you bastard.
Depends.
No, that was a wet dream, but whatever.
It depends. Why can't I remember the fucking dude's name?
Because you're 90.
The guitar guy.
No, I'm just kidding.
I am. All right. Dick Dale. Thank you. Matt Timney remembered his name for me. Dick Dale. Thank you. Yeah.
So look, his thoughts came together for a coherent word. Love it.
Yeah. Matt Timney must not be 90. That's the deal. Right?
I'm built like I'm 90.
He's probably 89. So he can.
Now, I'm curious. Who? Oh, he was talking about the Beach Boys. He was talking about the Beach Boys.
He was also talking about us. He was talking.
Did you say Matt Timney 8 and 9? Wow, I've only eaten 3 threes, but that's cool. Lucky bastard.
Remember yesterday you were talking about low hanging fruit and you were like insulting people for it.
Yeah, I ran it over.
You were.
Yeah.
Should we just fucking just crash the thing into a car?
Well, listen.
Wait, that's Rumble.
Well, just a friendly reminder that in Pennsylvania, decorating your car with hollies is illegal.
Now, to kind of, I'm gonna make a quick hard left turn, right turn, whatever that is, that way. The United Healthcare guy, right?
Brian Thompson.
Right, but they posted some pictures of the dude's face. I thought the dude was wearing the killer was wearing a mask.
He was. Those pictures. So I've been watching it on. I've been watching, kind of flipping between the news channels here in the hospital. So what it looks like is they have been able to capture him on video. Apparently, he spent 10 days in New York. He was scoping out the place. He was seen on camera flirting with the hotel hostess. So basically, he got himself on camera in a bunch of different angles previous to the event. So the face that you're seeing is who they're saying is a person of interest. They're not claiming that he's the suspect yet.
How do they know that it was him? I mean, same code.
Matching clothes. So they've been able to. So far, they're claiming they're matching the clothing, the backpack, and then they're claiming that the bike he's riding is an e-bike, meaning he would have had to buy it somewhere. So they're trying to piece it together. But right now, they're matching clothing and height estimates.
So strange that he hasn't been labeled the e-bike killer yet. I mean, that's kind of like.
Well, he's right now. Everyone's calling him the CEO killer. And then CNN did a whole story yesterday about how immediately CEOs now have like presidential protection.
Oh, that's no.
Yeah, they are. They showed the CEO of some fucking like restaurant or something, like walking around with like Secret Service opening her door, looking both ways, walking her in, surrounding her. And I'm like, that's okay.
You know what gets me though? Like they have I don't know if you've seen them advertised. I have all over the place. These latex masks that really look like authentic. Like you can look like,
they're all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're gonna go, if the guy was smart enough to do a silencer and all this kind of stuff and stalk him out, you would think he'd be smart enough to get one of those masks to just kind of.
Maybe it's a budget. Maybe he didn't have the budget.
Well, it could have been budget, but here's the thing: he spent 10 days in New York. He has money. But two, my thought is.
No, he had money when he started the first day.
Yeah, well, $30 for a mask.
Okay, but he didn't kill somebody at an airport. He killed them on the streets. Okay, so he wasn't broke. Now, but I imagine he didn't buy a mask because he can't find one without using a credit card. Because I doubt anyone sells him cash that quality.
Yeah, but now the FBI has facial recognition stuff. They can go through those pictures and pretty much narrow them down. Like I'm surprised they haven't put a name to it.
If he has the cash, that's not an excuse. If you have the cash, you can go into a store and buy a Visa card.
I understand he's still looking for his power cord in the airport. So,
what no one's talking about is like how this is going to become part of the norm. Because
people are talking about that on Twitter, but they have the wrong idea. They're thinking it's a class war thing that just because the guy was rich. It's not because he was rich or wealthy. It's because he was responsible for